everybody. Welcome back to the Objective Slant. You already know who I am. Well, if you don't, well, here's a little introduction. My name is Michael Aaron Lloyd. I am the host of this television program, The Objective Slant, which has been running for, a long time now. Well, not really a long time, but, it's been running since September 2018, and I gotta say, it's been fun to do this show, and it's been fun to, come back into your homes, on your YouTube screens, with your little tablets, your little phones, and all that good stuff. Or, if you're watching on television, you can always watch this show and all the other DC TV shows on television as well. But welcome to 2020. We're here and we're ready. Usually, it's that time of the year, everything's starting back up, school is starting back up, your work is starting, to get real biting into you, it's starting to just clench down, everything's starting to clench down on you. But remember what I told y'all at the end of the last year, the last show we did back on December the 6th, which, was a great show, and I gotta say it was fun to do. But today, I have been blessed with a couple of people that the UNT populace may or may not know, depending on, if you, care about your other fellow students or not. But, it just depends on you. But we're gonna introduce them to you right about now. And, the wide shot's probably already out. So, and you know, they got the shirts on and everything, so you know that it's SGA. So, we got the president here, and we got somebody else here that's also a member. Why don't y'all introduce yourselves? Just introduce yourselves a little bit, to the audience at large that may not know you.
Okay. Well, hi everyone. My name is Yoleon, and I am the student government president this year, and I'm just really excited to be here.
Yeah, and I'm Noah. I'm the Student Government Association Communications Director.
Yeah, it's been quite a long time coming. We've been, ever since, things that have happened, which we have discussed on this show back in November when we had the YCT president on here, who, was very outspoken, and to some people in the UNT circles, a little controversial. And we know that SGA is also a little bit controversial in some circles as well. But that's neither here nor there. We'll talk about that, today as well. But we're just gonna, get some little feeder questions out the way, and then we'll get to the big stuff. We got all the time in the world here. We got a 30-minute show to do, and it's gonna be fun. So first things first, what is the plans for SGA in 2020? What's the goal? What's the thing that's going to drive you guys to make the last semester for some of these people great? What's gonna be the plan for that?
Yeah, I know Noah will go into it a little bit more detail, but our administration has kind of developed what our core priority is for the rest of the year, which is we want to ensure that anything that we do in the wide variety of initiatives that we start or finish this semester is all about creating a more equitable and more inclusive campus climate for all. So that's our main focus, but we're really excited to be taking that focus and having several different initiatives under that too.
And I think the biggest thing too is being able to engage with students. I mean, last semester we definitely showed that we're here to say student voices matter, and I think student voices are being heard. And so we just want to let students know that SGA is the facilitator. We're a platform for students to speak. And so I think the biggest thing is whether you agree with some of our points or disagree with some of our points that we make, overall we're here to represent the student body. And so whether your voice is with us or against us or neither here or there, we definitely want to hear it. And so this semester is all just about continuing that engagement that we started last semester.
Yeah. How do y'all want to get more inclusivity? I can't speak. How do y'all feel about getting a little bit more inclusive and diverse? How do y'all feel about the university getting a little bit more diverse, inclusive, not exclusive and stuff like that. How do y'all feel about that?
Yeah, for sure. I think our campus or our university is extremely diverse, and I'm not even just talking like race or ethnicity. I mean, any type of way in terms of gender or any other way that someone would want to identify themselves with. But at the end of the day, like, we're a very diverse campus, and what SGA wants to do is reflect the way our students are on this campus so that they have a voice through SGA. I mean, we are a platform for students to make change or talk about like their concerns or things like that. So SGA is a really great place to reflect the diversity on our campus.
And it all starts with a conversation too. I mean, I'm a very traditional student, came straight out of high school, but I'm not going to know the same things as a non-traditional student or a veteran who served in the military or any of these different things that diversifies our university. And so I think it all starts with us being able to sit down and have a conversation and just kind of understand each other and understand what we all go through as students and as people, and kind of be able to build not only our platform, but be able to engage with them and be able to energize them to build their platform as well.
Yeah, all that's good stuff. We encourage, on this show to, just be mindful of other people's voices, get your voice out there, be heard, and, just let the ball start to roll and get your points out there. You don't want to be a silent voice in this new age of technology and things like that, where, everything just passes over your head and you're just out of the loop. You don't know what to do. And, it's always funny when, somebody, like, it's just like, oh, well, I don't know what's going on at all, man. Like last, like, I don't know. I don't really know. Like last year or something like that. Let's just throw away an example out here. Let's just say like somebody was unaware of what in the world's going on, with the impeachment stuff. Let's just say that, considering that we talk about this subject a lot. Well, not really a lot, but you get what I mean. Let's just say somebody was unaware of what impeachment, what that entails, and they're just a blind Trump supporter or a blind, supporter of somebody who's not, a Donald Trump fan, or, like maybe they're like an Elizabeth Warren stan or something like that. And they're just blindly, going through emotions, waiting to see what in the world's going to happen next, but they're not really aware of what's going to happen next. Maybe that's not the best point, but we got to get those points out there. You gotta let the ball keep on rolling, as I will say like 3 or 5 times, but man. So, next things on the agenda here is maybe something that's a little bit controversial, and I know that we talked about it before, maybe not, maybe you haven't heard. As we know, there was an event last, November, right? I can't remember. Day is, I'm old. 22 is pretty old. But there was an event last November or October or something like that, where a former UNT faculty member spouted out a racial epithet at a UNT function, a free speech function, and as we already know, she resigned and the university responded. Maybe, it was a good response, it was the right response, but, people were still kind of outraged over the actions, and I just want to, get, because you were there firsthand and you saw and you heard everything that happened, and you saw what she said, and you saw how other people felt at that word being said. And I just want to get your thoughts and everything about what in the world, what's been going through your head since that happened and things like that. What's going on?
Yeah, I will say that it's been a wild few months, to say the least. When that event had happened and I was there. I was actually like a part of the panel to discuss like free speech on behalf of like students, and so it was definitely alarming and a gross misuse of the word in the fact that we're talking about free speech, but also kind of recognizing that free speech matters in terms of social context and like what's going on. And so again, I think that everyone's kind of really seen what happened at the particular event in terms of afterwards. There was a lot of momentum, to be honest. A lot of students were outraged and just in shock that this happened on our campus, and that's kind of what sparked the little social movement we had, to be honest, called #NotMyUNT. And it wasn't necessarily to be kind of a stab at the university, but rather this type of behavior is not conducive or not something that we condone at a place like our UNT. And I guess the way that I see, my UNT and a lot of UNTs that people see is one of diversity, one of inclusion, one of equity, one of, a place where people feel safe and comfortable to be able to kind of say how they feel and feel included in the conversation. And so that particular event was just honestly the catalyst of a larger conversation that was sparked among campus, among university administration. And I will definitely tell you that in the few days after that had happened, whether it was the sit-in at the Board of Regents meeting, the speech afterwards, or anything like that, university administration has been increasingly helpful and had been wanting to listen and start that conversation. We're even having a town hall later this month to continue that conversation on equity, on cultural competence, and talking about those requests that we made after the event had happened. So I will say steps are really being made, and I'm excited to see a lot of change happen.
How do you feel?
Oh gosh, I mean, from the day of the event, I didn't believe it. There's still things that I don't believe. I wasn't at the event at the beginning, and I got the text, oh my gosh, a lawyer just said this, and I really didn't believe it because it was a long day at work and I thought they were trying to play a joke on me. And I just left my meeting and ran over there, and I was like, this can't be true. And within a matter of minutes, everyone from the office, everyone from the departments that was still left in the university was just flooding there because no one could believe that could happen on this university and on this campus. Let alone in front of 500 faculty, students, and staff and visitors, and we had distinguished guests there. And so it's just the truth of the matter is, yeah, that wasn't our UNT. That racial slur, that doesn't characterize what we stand for. It doesn't characterize inclusion. It doesn't characterize diversity. And if we're gonna hold up those pillars and invite students in and say, you should feel comfortable here, we care about you, this is a safe space, we can't be silent about these kind of things. And so, yeah, some people might have said we took it a step too further. She resigned the next day, but to be honest, that was the first step. And this isn't the first incident either. I mean, there have been 3 or 4 racially charged incidences on this campus within the past 2-3 years. And so this was just kind of the tipping point for us to say, you know what, we're not gonna stay silent. We have something to say, and we wanna be sure that students feel safe to come up and say, this isn't my UNT. And so I think overall that was the message, and that's why we were able to engage with students so much. That's why now we're able to engage with administrators about this so much. The first week we came back, the president's office called us saying that he wanted to have this town hall about inclusion and equity and diversity and invite faculty and staff to it as well. The Faculty Senate were one of the first groups of people who said, hey, we should look into doing some sort of mandatory diversity training for our faculty. And so I think the greatest thing is that we were to show that student voices have power, and we're able to use that for things, honestly, for the better, to better this university. And so, of course, that wasn't our UNT, but it's slowly coming back to us. The campus that we know and love, I think is coming back to us through administrators, through our student government, through our students, and I think that's what's really important.
Yeah, all that stuff is just, man, that is a lot, to get through and everything like that. It has been a little bit of a while, when things like that. It's been about 2 months since that happened, and some people are still a little bitter, some people are still a little bit salty over it, but you gotta get your voice out there. You gotta get engaged. You can't just move on from this. This is not something that can just, you can just throw under the rug this time. It's a very serious situation. Yeah. So I guess another question that I'll pose here is about, people who maybe did not like what you guys did in the aftermath of what happened. Some people were a little bit upset. I know the YCT president was a little bit upset, and they are attempting, I guess, as far as I know, to challenge for seats and stuff like that. As far as I know, that's the little gist that I know. I haven't really kept up with everything because it's a long, long arduous process to get information and stuff together for the show and get things ready and stuff. But how do you feel about people who maybe did not really necessarily like what you guys did afterwards? How do you feel about those kind of people? How do you feel about YCT in general? Because they are definitely trying to challenge for some SGA seats and stuff like that, and get their voice out there, get the conservative voice back out there. As far as what they can tell me, that's what they told me. How do y'all feel about that?
I mean, I think the first thing in this conversation is the fact that SGA does want to represent everyone, and we want to be a voice for everyone. And so that's why we have our doors open all the time now this semester. And so if someone's in the office, we have our door open, and we want people to come in and talk to us. We've had so many direct messages on social media asking us like, hey, why did y'all make this? Why did you make this move? I don't quite understand the whole story. And I think a lot of it is people don't necessarily understand the whole story. They don't understand that things like this have happened on this campus before. And once they understand that, and once they understand, what the actions that were taken after that, they are more perceptive and more understanding to where we're coming from as an association, trying to prevent anything from like this happening again, and building a culture where everyone feels comfortable and safe. Mm-hmm. But I think the other thing too is that our door hasn't just been open this semester, our door has been open last semester as well. A day after or 2 days after the event, we hosted our first ever general student body meeting. And so that was a literal open forum for all of our executive board was there. We talked about what we've done, we've talked about what we want to do, and we opened the floor to everyone. And we had a decent, I think we had 100 people show up initially and throughout the event. And we had a lot of good questions as far as, what do you think about demand 3? I have a concern about demand 3, or I have a concern about demand 4, and how is this going to affect me? And we were able to make our case for them, and we were able to say, this is where we were coming from, but we want to hear your point as well. And I think that was the biggest thing about the forum. And so I would definitely encourage people who maybe don't understand, or maybe just flat out disagree or oppose, to come to these forums, to come to our open doors, to fill out a concern card, to write us a direct message, to do all of these things. Because we'll see it on our Twitter feed, but there are more efficient ways and there are better ways to do this. And we want to engage in that conversation because there may be some things that we're missing, but there also may be some things that y'all are missing as well. And so it's a two-way conversation that we want to be sure we have, but we have our State of the Student Body coming up on the 29th. Every month after that, we'll have a general student body, we'll have a town hall a month. And so we have forums for people to talk. And I mean, I would say we even saw YCT at the general student body meeting, and they didn't come up to the mic and ask us questions, but I think that was a good first step. And I think the next step is for them to ask us questions and ask us in front of people too. I think the best way for us to be prepared as well is to be challenged. And I think whenever our team is challenged, we come together and we come up with a better solution and a better solution. And it's not to oppose anyone, it's to come up with a solution that's gonna be better for the entire student body. I mean, we have to remember that we're almost a minority serving institution. We're almost an MSI, we're almost a Hispanic, like an HSI. We're all of these different things. And so we have to take into account all of these different things that UNT is growing into as well. And so we definitely want to have these conversations. I think they're starting to be had, but I would just encourage anyone out there to speak to us. We might not necessarily love to hear what you have to say or agree with what you have to say, but that's why we're here. That's what we are literally paid to do, to serve you. And so we want to have these conversations for sure.
Yeah, Noah basically said it all, but at the end of the day, we've never really had an issue of being challenged, and we've kept multiple open lines of communication. And so I guess the biggest thing is we encourage people to have that conversation with us. I mean, I will say that as a professional organization, we never condone any personal attacks or personal grievances. However, if there's an issue with kind of how we're conducting the initiatives or anything about like the Student Government Association in general, that's definitely something we're willing to have a conversation about for sure, regardless of who wants to have that conversation with us.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. I guess I'll end the show here with a couple of questions. Well, maybe like one or two. Who knows? There'll be quick questions, of course. Okay. Actually, three. First things first, because it's been a thing that has happened recently. It was like maybe like December or something like that, early January, where it's like the banning of jewels on campuses, and I just wanted to get y'all's opinion on that because I wanted to get that out there real quick, and things like that. How do y'all feel about that? Do y'all use jewels?
No.
No, so neither of us do. We actually haven't been asked that question. So,
actually, yeah. So
we haven't talked about it as a team. I mean, I know it's definitely something that the president's office and the entire administration has been pushing.
Yeah, it's actually been banned on
Yeah.
campus.
And I think it's a reflection of just a nationwide kind of conversation and conversations that are being had at other universities. So we haven't quite had that conversation yet, but if you have any opinions as well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have any opinions because I'm not an avid, I don't really partake in that. However, we are a smoke-free campus, and so what I do think kind of that rule was attempting to align with what was kind of already there in terms of just being a smoke-free campus. And again, part of a national conversation, and I think a lot of schools are moving in that direction.
Yeah, and all that's good stuff because I believe I'm not good with my memory, so forgive me. But I believe it was one of these episodes way back when we talked about juuling and how dangerous it was and how how terrible it was and stuff like that, and all that stuff where I was just bashing it into the ground. It was either that or something completely different. But I don't remember. But second to last question here that we're going to pose is something that has been, a thing since, a long time. It's been a thing for a long time, and I've, yet to, get a really good gauge on it and, see what, other people think. And that is UNT's Eminent Domain up Avenue C, which I have not asked anybody at all, I don't think, which I have hardly even talked about. So how do y'all feel about eminent domain?
So something I just wanted to mention about this subject, because it is very touchy and there's kind of, I think, a lot of misinformation, miscommunication around that. And what's been really great since the beginning of the semester is that we have been diligently having like our VP appointee, Deanna, kind of work on ensuring that we kind of get all the facts straight and understand like where are we at in terms of what the process of eminent domain is like. We did have a resolution come through the Senate in regards to actually putting out a survey to gauge information from our students. And so I think the first step is understanding what is like what is the information, I guess. So like what do people know, what do people don't know about eminent domain? And then going a step further and kind of understanding how is that going to affect us students. Because at the end of the day, we are the Student Government Association, and what we do is make sure that we are working for the interest of UNT students as a whole. And so we're just going to make sure that whatever steps we do take or whatever steps we ensure that we're taking them into account.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's nice. How do you feel?
I think Yolian summed it up very well. I think the biggest thing that my personal concern, I think a lot of concerns that we've heard from students is a growing food desert around campus, and just making sure that kind of whatever happens to that area, we still maintain some sort of independent restaurants and some sort of independent way to get food for students. Because I know for a lot of freshmen and for a lot of even perhaps first year transfer students, they might not have a car. And so their options are dining hall or nothing. And so we just want to be sure that that conversation remains on the table. And so I think there's a lot of conversations being had super higher up with facilities and with the Board of Regents. And so I think just making sure that that's also a concern is that's what we've heard a lot from students. But yeah, I think we'll hopefully be getting ready for some sort of survey to disperse to students to kind of gauge what they know, how they feel, and kind of what they would want for that space. And so just a bunch of different things that we're gearing up for that I think students will hopefully be pleased with in this upcoming semester, and hopefully everyone will have a better idea, because right now there's just a little bit of not misinformation, but just I think confusion too, as far as just like, no, there isn't even information right now, and so it's just like miss nothing. And so it's just getting information out there to students and giving them a better idea and letting us hear their opinions and thoughts.
Yeah, and we'll throw out the final question here, and I'm gonna let y'all go and have a good day and stuff like that. I just want to gauge the thoughts of y'all. How do y'all feel about being on this program? We've done this show 19 times. This is the 19th time, so how do y'all feel about being on this program, which we kind of talked about a little bit earlier, but not gonna go too into detail about that. But yeah, go ahead, y'all have the floor.
Yeah, I think we're hopefully excited to kind of get our message across. I think a lot of times people see SGA as this big scary thing that no one can change, and I mean, I think this administration is proof that we can change it. We came into this with not a ton of SGA experience, but a ton of dedication to students. And we've been able to kind of change what SGA means, been able to, and a lot due to like Yolian and Deanna's leadership, been able to change what SGA is and be able to change how students interact with it. And so I really think to anyone out there watching, any students watching, just know we're in Union 344. Our doors are always open, and we'd love to come by and talk to you. We'll probably have some snacks in there at some point, but I think it's just we're excited for this semester because I think students know what SGA is. If not, they've heard about us on Twitter or on the newspapers or whatever it is, and so I think we've kind of gotten through to a lot of people, and now we just want to be sure that they hear our message and we hear theirs.
How do you feel?
And I just really appreciate you giving us the opportunity to not only display our message, but even have the platform to talk about kind of what SGA is doing, what we're up to, and things like that. So yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, I'm glad that y'all came on. You guys are definitely, I've always invite guests back. So if you guys ever want to come back on the show, just want to be like, oh, well, let's just talk about something different, because, I have different plans for whatever the occasion may be for the month, or then again, it may be twice a month. It kind of depends on what our schedule is like, and things like that. Mine's and Joey's back there. I acknowledge him at the end of every show. He's a great guy. But yeah, things things are kind of hectic around here. We're getting ready to get back into the swing of things for potentially the final few episodes or so of the show. Maybe, who knows? Who knows what the plan's going to be? Graduation for me is around the corner. Some other people, graduation is also around the corner and stuff like that. But it is what it is. And so I want to thank you guys for coming on to the show today. Next month, I don't know what's going to happen. Don't ask me. If there's another show later on in the month, don't ask me. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen about that either. But we'll get the times and stuff ready, and we'll get the show out as soon as possible, because I want these guy and gals voices to get out there and just tell the world and tell the university and stuff like that about SGA and everything that they stand for. And so with that being said, everybody, enjoy the new look for a little while. My hair will probably grow back in like 2 months' time, so it'll be fine. And with that being said, my name is Micah Lloyd, and we're signing out. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.